Was never a huge fan of the Nether update. The Elytra and Mending enchantment should have never been added to the game. Beds are overpowered and should be an endgame item. Hardcore Minecraft isn't interesting. It's just a waste of time. Hey everyone, it's Upstar. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be diving back into the trenches, looking at some Minecraft unpopular and slightly controversial opinions. However, this time it will not be sourced from Reddit. It'll be coming from you guys. I asked my community to drop their juiciest, spiciest, controversialist opinions about Minecraft, and you guys freaking delivered. I would say this is even more intense than the ones I found on Reddit. Y'all have been keeping this in deep down, and now you're finally letting it out, and I can see the built-up rage. So we're gonna be going through some of the biggest ones that I found while we play a little bit of Minecraft in the background, of course. So put me on the second monitor, do some of your chores, go draw, play Minecraft, whatever you may need to do, and let's just chat about Minecraft and, you know, discuss these opinions. Anyways, let's get on with it. The first opinion comes from Oingo Broza. They say, the B update was the last good update Mojang ever released. I'm sure that most of us will probably disagree with this one. I genuinely have no idea how you could think this is true, but you know what? I'm not here to bash anyone's opinions, but I just disagree very strongly. I actually remember that when the B update came out, I almost just said B movie. When the B update came out, I remember that everyone felt quite underwhelmed in the community about the B update, so I kind of don't understand where this is coming from. I guess if you're a beekeeper or a bee advocate or something, sure, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was a good update, but it wasn't that good. There were definitely better ones. That was 1.15, wasn't it? I mean, didn't the Nether update come right after that one? I'm pretty sure a lot of people hold the Nether update in like high regards. So that's definitely unpopular. Rufus says, the trident is useless and bad as a weapon. See, this is pretty controversial because I actually know a handful of people who really love using the trident. I guess it's kind of either or, but I do feel like the trident is not useless. It definitely has its use cases. It's definitely not like the best every, like, you know, daily weapon, I guess, sort of thing. It's not the most generic use case, but it is pretty useful, I would say, especially if you have the right enchants. That's what makes the tridents really worthwhile. So I would say I disagree, but I mean, it's not supposed to be compared to like a sword or an axe. 3OT says, I don't like the hunger mechanic. Remove sprinting and increase base speed. Very interesting. I know that a lot of people are not fond of the hunger mechanic. I personally am. I enjoy hunger in Minecraft, but I definitely think removing sprinting would be a very unpopular decision and increasing the base speed at that. I really like the speed of walking versus sprinting. I like that we have access to both. If anything, I would say that sprinting is overutilized in the game and people should really slow down a little bit sometimes and just take a little walk around their world. I don't know. I feel like right now we have a good balance of being able to do both, picking one or the other. I do see how people don't like the hunger mechanic. It is a little bit annoying sometimes, especially if you're just not fond of having to munch down on food every once in a while. It is kind of pointless, honestly. Codename Moss says, I do not like snapshots. You just can't be surprised anymore. Honestly, I kind of agree with this. I've always been one to avoid looking through the snapshots. I actually never play on snapshots myself, no matter how much I like the updates, because I always just want to kind of keep it a surprise for myself and not really look too far deep into the actual patch notes or what new features they're adding into the new updates, because it's fun to have a little bit of, you know, excitement when it comes to those sort of things. So I've always been one to just avoid playing snapshots, but I guess they're there for a good reason, of course, like for community bug testing and making sure everything's working properly, but maybe it would be better if it was more of like an exclusive thing for people who like sign up to get access to snapshots. But I don't know. I guess in that case, you would still probably see them from like creators on YouTube and stuff, so I don't know. I guess there's really no avoiding it unless you just decide to not engage with the Minecraft community for a while during like snapshot seasons, which happens very often these days, especially with the drop system. So it's like, I don't know, you can't really ever be surprised. That's true, but I do think the trade-off is an important one for the sake of, you know, player testing. Larsh says, the warden sucks because nowhere else in the game do you need to stealth. So I don't really understand the reasoning for this opinion. Just because there is no other place in the game where you need stealth doesn't make the warden bad, in my opinion. I feel like if anything, having one area in the game where stealth is the main survival mechanic is actually kind of cool. If you don't like stealth, then you simply just avoid the deep dark, right? I personally am terrible at stealth, so I kind of just don't go there. But I think it's just an interesting mechanic. It encourages you to play in a new way. I do think the warden sucks, but not for that reason. I think it kind of sucks because I get what they're going with about it being a mob you have to avoid, but like they literally design a boss mob and then don't give it like any cool drops or an incentive to kill it, or I don't know. I don't feel like that's how us as players, we really work. We want to kill the big scary monster and get something out of it. So when we don't, it's kind of disappointing, but I don't think it's necessarily because of the stealth. I think if anything, the warden is so scary because of kind of like the stealth aspect of it. Join my Patreon for exclusive Minecraft videos, let's plays, and bonus content. Thanks so much for your support. Nism Kung says, the elytra and mending enchantment should have never been added to the game. I feel like this is a very divisive opinion. Some people obviously live off of the elytra and the mending enchantment, and they could not play on their worlds without it because it would just ruin the experience for them. However, for me, I actually never play with the elytra, and I do use mending on like my best tools, but I can definitely live without it. I don't need mending necessarily. I can definitely take the hit of just losing my tools. I wouldn't really care that much, or just having to repair them like with experience and stuff, or not with experience, but with like, you know, diamonds on the anvil and stuff, and experience. But I definitely feel like there is a bit of a reason for why people dislike the elytra and mending, and I feel like it's more of like game balance. Obviously they are just the top tier things in the game. They're super sought after, like there's no topping it. But I don't know. I mean, for some people it just makes the game more fun. For some people it doesn't. If you don't want the elytra, just don't get one. If you don't want mending, just don't get it, you know? It's not like it's forced onto you, so I don't really see what the problem is. Senny says, unpopular opinion, I honestly like tall grass. It is good to hide ugly parts of my terraforming. You will now be banned from the channel. Just kidding. Obviously, as the #1 tall grass hater in the world, I have to strongly disagree with this one. I despise tall grass. I genuinely am not even exaggerating when I say that the second I see tall grass in my world, I will break it. It disgusts me. It's genuinely the worst block in the entire game. I don't know how people like it. Truly, I just hate it. Salem says, I actually like the poppy way more than the old rose. Sorry. You know what? As a rose respecter, I will have to disagree with this one, but hey, it is a matter of opinion. Maybe you're just a really big poppy fan. Poppies are cool flowers, I'm sure, in real life, but the problem with the poppies that I have is that they replaced the rose rather than being a friend alongside the rose. I'm sure we all love our red flowers. Why get rid of one and replace it with a different one? I just don't understand. Everyone says that the easiest fix for what their problem with the rose was just to make it like, if you shear a rose bush, you can get a rose from it. That would make sense, and then you can just plant the rose. Like, I just don't understand why they do this to us. Oh, but roses don't grow in one... It's Minecraft. The trees float, for fuck's sake. I want my naturally growing roses, and I want them now. The Old Outsider says, the enchanting table should go back to costing 30 XP levels at tier 3 to make enchantments more difficult and consequently rarer. I will say, I kind of agree with this one. It would kind of suck, honestly, but at this point, I'm kind of for making the survival experience more difficult. And the problem I have with modern Minecraft survival is that they have stripped down so many of the very difficult mechanics from the earlier versions of the game and made it a lot easier, which is great for some players, but personally I like a bit of a challenge. We are playing survival, making enchantments more difficult to get, costing a lot more experience, especially when people just make XP farms anyways. It's not like this is such a huge deal, especially late game. I would say yes, this would make the game a lot more difficult, especially to get enchantments. They would be a lot more special, especially if you get a really good one, and I guess you would still have like the reroll system in this case, so it's not like it's going to be completely just a scam if you get like a shit enchantment. You will still get a chance at a good one as long as you do the rerolls, right? So I'm not opposed to this, but I do think it's unpopular. I feel like most people don't really like the enchanting system as it is right now, let alone if we make it like this. This is probably not going to solve the problem for many people. Honestly though, I've never really had a problem with the enchanting system. I think it's fine. I don't really care, so I'm totally down with this. Cat Meow Meow says, I wish they brought strip mining back to being viable again. I don't like caving very much. Okay, to be fair, I do definitely prefer caving over strip mining, but I do agree that they should make it at least viable, because why remove one really cool method of mining that a lot of people like to do just to make caving the best option? Like, yeah, I think caving is a more fun experience, but I would still agree that they should have strip mining to be an option for players who don't like to cave. It just doesn't make sense to get rid of, when there's two options, why get rid of one? have us keep both. There's no reason to make strip mining not viable. Just have both of them be viable, and like maybe one has an upside, one has an upside that's like, you know, unique to itself. Maybe you're more likely to find a specific ore if it doesn't touch air, like maybe iron or gold or something. I don't know. Like, I don't understand. Strip mining was such a core aspect of Minecraft, and now it's just not viable. Even as a lover of the new cave systems, I totally agree with this. They should definitely make strip mining a thing again. Bring back strip mining! Your cat says, mending is buns. I love re-rolling on the enchantment table every time my pickaxe breaks. Call me a gambler. Yeah, see, I think a lot of people will agree that mending is not in its perfect state right now, but I feel like the re-rolling the enchanting table every time your pickaxe breaks is the unpopular opinion here. But you know what? Fair enough. I wouldn't mind it either personally. I like a bit of a challenge, as I said, so again, it would really suck though to lose your like really good tools that you spent a lot of time working on, so I totally understand why people wouldn't like that, but hey, it's an unpopular opinions video. Quiet Subwoofer says, Deep Slate needs to be toggleable in world generation settings. It's so ugly to build with and horrible to mine. You know what? I don't really think making it toggleable will be the best solution, and I don't really think it's ugly to build with. I think it's a nice block, like a dark stone is a great choice. I think a lot of people love building with Deep Slate, especially if they like a darker color palette, so I disagree with that fully, even though I don't really build with Deep Slate ever. But yes, it is horrible to mine Deep Slate. I hate that even with like the full haste beacon system, like efficiency 5 netherite pickaxe, that whole shebang, you still can't insta-mine Deep Slate. It pisses me off so bad, especially when I do my mining a whole entire chunk down to bedrock project. Now with Deep Slate, that's so much more difficult because you can't insta-mine it. So it's just, it ruins the fun of the project for me. It's just so annoying. So yeah, I would say the best solution is just to make it be insta-mineable, at least at a certain point, right? I don't understand why they had to make it like slower to mine. It's just so frustrating. Apple Co says, not a fan of new caves. There's no realistic explanation for their ability to exist in the real world, and I'm a realism inspired person, so I hate them. This is such an interesting thought pattern because I definitely see a lot of people either love or hate the new caves, but the reasoning for this one is very interesting to me because I feel like if anything, Minecraft actually spent a lot of time making the new caves more realistic. Like they were actually inspired by different sort of cave systems that exist in real life. Like for example, I think the spaghetti caves, or like those really narrow ones that are very steep, are based on like real caves and stuff like that. So I feel like they're more realistic, aren't they? At least from what I remember, you know, seeing back when the Caves and Cliffs was like, you know, being in development. And also, okay, to be fair, like, yes, Minecraft does put a lot of effort nowadays into, like, the realism aspect, but Minecraft is not a realistic game. Like, it's just not. I just don't understand. It's fine. It's fine. Alphonic says, was never a huge fan of the Nether update. To me, it's overly complicated and cluttered. I found the original zombie pigmen and their obscurity to be fitting within its environment. This is definitely an unpopular one. I feel like everyone raves about the Nether update as being one of the best updates to come out, so this is definitely an interesting one. I mean, to be fair, I don't have any strong opinions on either way. I think the new Nether is very fun, but I do sometimes miss the old Nether just because it is so simple and like, I don't know, I like that it feels very warm because everything is just like the red biome. So it does kind of, you miss a little bit of the older sort of warm aesthetic. But yeah, this is, I think, just definitely objectively an unpopular opinion. Most people that I've seen in the Minecraft community really do enjoy the Nether update. Ember Wiccan says, unpopular opinion, shields should not exist. It's not that fun to use. I feel like putting up blocks is more fun in PvE and PvP. What an interesting take. Putting up blocks as an alternative to using a shield is very interesting. I've never heard of anyone using that as an actual technique unless they're like PvPing. Never heard of that being used in PvE. I've probably done that only like in very rare circumstances, like if I was really in trouble, I need to like walk myself off into like a little hole or something. But as an actual like method for blocking damage, I don't really ever see anyone using blocks for that. Maybe if there was a better mechanic for it, yes, but I feel like right now that would just be really inconvenient, and then you would have to like go around your world and destroy all of these like block shields that you put down, which I feel like would be really just annoying. And you would get a very cluttered world very quickly. Wafer the Body of Christ says, it's too easy to survive in survival. You have to go out of your way to make the first night actually difficult. I fully agree with this. Like seriously, especially after playing so much of older Minecraft versions, I notice how much easier it is to survive in modern Minecraft. And it's literally like just the difference of design in the game. They've changed so many of the features, they've added so many features, and it just removes so much of the difficulty, which I mean, I just don't really understand, because I feel like survival needs to be challenging, right? And right now it's just really not. And it doesn't really scale that well with like the difficulties, and I feel like that would be such a great solution, because like yes, survival needs to be easy for some people, especially newer players, or like, you know, people who just don't really want all of that. Totally fair. So that's why like there should be an easy survival difficulty that's actually like, you know, easy, and then like normal and hard should actually scale on like a full game scale. Loot should be harder to find, structures should be rarer, mobs should be obviously way harder, spawn more frequently, things like that. Like maybe there's even different mechanics when it comes to like how you skip the night, or maybe you can't even sleep on the first night, like you have insomnia because you're so scared. It's like a new world, you know, like all these sort of things. They should add much more complicated mechanics when it comes to the difficulty scaling of the game, because that would make survival such a more interesting experience for all different types of players. And yes, I just fully agree, like it is so easy to survive your first night. It's not even like a challenge anymore. I remember back in the day, people on YouTube, like Minecraft YouTubers, would make those videos on like how to survive your first night. Now I feel like it's so easy, like no one really needs those sort of videos anymore. But like even now, going back to like beta, alpha, even early release, it is a lot harder. Like every time I start a new playthrough on those versions, I do struggle to survive my first night. So yeah, I totally agree with this one. Marvin says, Minecraft doesn't need new updates, they're just a nice bonus. Mojang could stop updating the game and I would still keep playing forever. The fact that we even get updates is a luxury. I honestly agree with this one. I've always been the proponent that like Minecraft is a one-time purchase game. The fact that we still have like regular updates for it, like what, 15, 16 years later, is a miracle. It's actually kind of crazy, especially for us Java players, where we really are not giving them any extra money after we purchase the game. Like for me, I purchased my copy of Java in 2015. They have not been making money off of me for 11 years at this point. So unless you're a Bedrock player, obviously that's a different story with the microtransactions, but yeah, it is kind of a luxury. I mean, not a lot of games are like that. I feel like for a lot of people though, they would say that this is not an excuse for the quality of the updates we've been getting, but I don't know. I mean, there's two sides to the coin here. I feel like Minecraft doesn't need new updates, but it is really nice that we're getting them. Dasha says, more people should focus on what they love about the game instead of focusing on what they hate. So many things are a matter of perspective in my opinion. Very true. I like to keep a balanced perspective about Minecraft, you know, not being too critical while not being too defensive, I guess, or you know. But yeah, I tend to try to just focus on the positives, and I feel like these sort of opinions obviously are bound to be more negative. Sometimes it's important to remember, like, at the end of the day, as long as you're having fun playing Minecraft, that's all that should really matter. Everything can be improved, but at a certain point you should understand that regardless, we will probably never be happy with the state of Minecraft, even if it was perfect. I feel like it's just in our nature to find like problems and to complain and to criticize, because we are obviously always trying to strive to be better. But like Minecraft is great, you know? It's great the way it is, and it could be better, but I think it's also just important to give it some grace and focus on having fun. Like honestly, that's just so right here. Minecraft is a fantastic game and there's so much to love about it, so there's really no need to be so hateful. Pickle Pixel Paper Pepper says, adding wood types and door variants to make the game compete with Terraria clotted and bloated the inventory and in a way changed the game for the worse. I completely disagree with this. First of all, I don't really know what this has to do with Terraria. I don't really know much about Terraria, but I feel like Minecraft adds wood variants because it's popular within the community, especially with the builders. And you know, I mean, what's wrong with adding some more wood types? I think it's awesome, and like I really enjoy building with all the new ones as well. It's so fun to build with like pink wood and yellow wood and like the warped wood, you know, the teal and crimson, the red, and all of these different colors makes the game so much more vibrant and your palette's so much more colorful, and I love that. I think it's so fun. I use the new wood types all the time. I definitely don't think it changed the game for the worse. If you don't like the new wood types, you simply just don't have to use them. I don't think it made the game worse in any way. Callie Seaweed says, my hot take is that Minecraft deserves more purple blocks. It's such a neglected color in the game. We need purple wood stat. Guys, not to be biased, but I'm going to have to disagree with I'm just kidding. I'm gonna have to agree. Obviously, we need a purple wood. I've been begging for a purple wood type for ages. I want a vibrant, beautiful, luscious violet wood type, and maybe even a pastel one if we could ask for 2. But that is a little bit, you know, ambitious. But I would love a nice, vibrant purple, like, you see this, like that. Because listen, I feel like with mods, everyone adds the pastel wood, but vibrant purple blocks are so like underrated. I just love them. Like, it's so fun. Totally not biased or anything, but like, come on, man. We need a purple wood. Lenny Halloween says, most hardcore YouTubers are secretly just keep inventory users. It's just so easy to cheat if you die. I don't judge though, keep inventory is awesome. I mean, listen, I'm not gonna say that every hardcore YouTuber out there is playing legit, but I feel like most of them are, I hope. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really watch any hardcore Minecraft YouTubers, but I really hope they're not all using keep inventory because that kind of defeats the purpose. That would kind of suck, honestly. Why even play hardcore if you're not even gonna play hardcore, you know what I mean? Yeah, that would be really unfortunate if it was true. I'm hoping for the best. I'm gonna hold a little bit of faith within the Minecraft community. My fellow Minecraft YouTubers out there, don't be cheating in your videos. Be upfront when you cheat, because usually when I cheat in my videos, I just, you know, admit it. I'm like, yeah, guys, I kind of spawned this in. It's not a big deal. Who cares? Catalyst says, vanilla Minecraft world generation is horrendous. Tiny oceans, bumpy plains, holes in the side of everything. It keeps me off of playing Bedrock. This is so interesting because, I feel like most people nowadays, when it comes to modern Minecraft, when they complain about the generation of the game, this is not the reason. I remember back in the day there was this bug with the world generation where the oceans were basically infinite at a certain point and they were just massive. Nowadays I feel like the oceans are pretty balanced, so I don't know about the tiny oceans. Bumpy plains? Question mark? I don't know. Holes in the side of everything? Question mark? I don't know. Like, I never see these very particular complaints about the world generation, so that's something. Best part about Java, I guess, though, is of course you can just use world generation mods or play on different versions. Macy Haid says, I think that Mojang doesn't put that much effort into adding new content to the game because they know how popular mods are. That essentially makes it so they can cut costs but still turn a profit because mods do their job for them. Okay, not thinking about this too hard, but I do think that this is not true because it doesn't really make sense from a business perspective. They wouldn't be profiting off of the mods, especially if we're talking about like Java mods. They're not making any profit off of those. The reason that they make updates and their incentive for making good updates is so that they draw players back into the game or draw new players into the game. That's how they make money off of updates. It's supposed to generate hype. It's supposed to be good. They have an incentive to make them good and worthwhile for new players and old players alike to jump into Minecraft. So they wouldn't be able to cut costs and still turn a profit by letting the mod makers do this because they're not going to be profiting. And these mods are not really going to, for the most part, gain enough traction within the general community for them to bring in the Minecraft players, or like new Minecraft players at that, because probably new Minecraft players aren't really joining into the modding scene at first anyway. So I feel like to be actually about it, like it doesn't really make sense. So I don't know, I kind of disagree, but maybe I'm missing something here. Duck Launcher says, the use of the /TP command removes so much fun and several interesting mechanics and opportunities from the game, and it makes me kind of sad that so many people consider it a necessity for them to enjoy the game. You know what, this is such a fair point. I'm always going to be the proponent of like, if you want to use commands, just use them. But there is an argument to be had that using certain commands does take away from the gameplay experience. Things like keep inventory and definitely teleporting, like, yeah, that does remove certain aspects of the game that could make it more enjoyable or meaningful or fulfilling to some players. But at the same time, for others, it probably just doesn't really make much of a difference. So they ought to just use the commands to make their life a little bit easier. Plus, not everyone has time for all that, you know? If you die and you just want to quickly grab your stuff again, keep inventories there, saves you a lot of time, especially if you don't really have that long to play Minecraft at the end of the day or whatever. Yeah, I will say I kind of do agree with this. I've been really, like, lately been trying to use less commands in my worlds because I do find that for me personally, it does make the experience of playing a lot more fulfilling. So even as someone who is like, yeah, of course, commands are totally fine and they should be utilized if a person wants to in their single player world, of course, they could use them, but like still, sometimes it is just a better experience to not use them. It's Llama, I guess, says, I voted for the glow squid, and I think it's overhated. I think the moo bloom is overrated, and all the mobs that year wouldn't have added that much to the game in the long run, so we should just leave my poor baby glow squid alone. This is really sweet. I mean, I think the glow squid is fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I feel like the glow ink mechanics that we have with like the signs is really fun. They could definitely try to add more uses for it because it is such a cool item. And the glow squids look awesome. They're so pretty. I love them. But the moo bloom being overrated, I kind of disagree. I'm not like the biggest moo bloom lover or anything, but I feel like it would be such a great addition to the game, especially like they could have definitely included it in the Spring to Life update or even utilized it somehow with the golden dandelion. Like, there have been multiple occasions where the moo bloom would have been a perfect fit for a drop or an update, and they just haven't added it for what? Like, what is the reason to not add such a beloved mob at this point? You know what I mean? It's Cheesy Puff says, Bedrock Edition isn't as buggy as people say it is. The only reason why people say Bedrock is buggy is because their standards are inflated by Java, or videos that people see every once in a while that display a lag so bad it causes death or near death in the game. I feel like at this point it is kind of a meme to shit on Bedrock for being bug rock. But I heard the other day on one of my streams someone calling it lagva, and I was like, okay, fair enough. You know what? Bedrock has the bug reputation, but Java does have the lag reputation, so you know what? It's kind of like, we're even at this point. And from what I've heard from like Bedrock players, especially in my community, is like, yeah, it really isn't as bad as people say it is, but like, of course, it's like, the fact is, when you see those bugs, they're so extreme. It's like, the fact that this could happen is kind of insane. Like, it's not just a little visual bug or anything, it's like, you die, which is kind of a huge deal. But yeah, I do agree, it's probably not as bad as it seems, you know. Lonely Spee says, beds are overpowered and should be an endgame item. Oh, and I think modern building techniques are massively overrated. The obsession with gradients and it's a color, not a material mentality leads to builds that look awesome for Pinterest, but often look awful up close or not immersive. This is so interesting. Beds being overpowered and should be an endgame item is so extreme. There's probably a little truth in this. Like, yeah, being able to skip the night, especially like even like right at the beginning of a playthrough, especially if you find a village, kind of does seem OP because the night is a pretty big part of the survival experience. But overpowered endgame item? Definitely not endgame. Maybe mid-game at most if we want to push it, but like, I don't know. I definitely don't think that one's a popular one. Modern building techniques. I would say modern building in Minecraft is so high standard compared to older techniques, and the gradients, you know, that's kind of like a, I don't know, it feels like an interior design trend. Minecraft roof gradients and stuff, and like the, you know, the color thing. I don't know. I'm not really into this whole scene of like modern building. I really don't know much about it. But from what I've seen, I mean, the builds that people make nowadays look great in game as well. I don't think they look bad. Also, them being not immersive, maybe if like you're using really weird blocks just for the sake of the color, but I feel like that's always been the point of Minecraft builds, like using the material for its actual designated purpose. I feel like no one's built like that, even back then. I don't build like that. I feel like most people don't build like that, even if they're not using modern building techniques. I always build for the sake of the color and like the general texture and like what kind of vibe I'm looking for. I don't care if I'm building my bathroom floor with wool. If it's a nice color, actually a great example is I tend to always build my kitchen floors with wool because I like the tiled look of wool. And it's more about the texture and color for me rather than the material. And yes, it is not immersive at all because it's wool in a kitchen, but I don't really care. So I don't agree with this. Mumochi says, I think the inventory issue is overblown, and I welcome as much block bloat as Mojang will give us. I'd happily welcome 40 plus decorative designs for every block crafted via stonecutter, like the chipped mod adds, and I think after initially complaining, most players would like the variety. I don't know, at a certain point it feels like the block variety that we have is very overwhelming. I tend to like stick to very basic and simple blocks that I'm already used to using, because sometimes picking out new ones with all the new blocks we have is a little overwhelming. Yes, having the choice is really great, but at a certain point, is it too much? Maybe. 40 plus decorative designs for every block would be a little insane, I think. So yeah, I feel like there should be a balance, but like at the end of the day, more variety, probably a better thing than less variety, I guess. Cora says, the creeper is the worst mob and should be completely reworked or removed. The texture is awful and should be redone. Creepers shouldn't spawn everywhere, and they should make sounds to alert you of their presence before they get close enough to you to blow up. Their explosions should drop all blocks. This is a very intense anti-creeper opinion. I mean, this would be completely nerfing them to the ground and removing their entire, like, point. I think we all know that Mojang would never add a creeper in modern Minecraft or anything similar, but like the fact that it exists should be respected. It is a very iconic Minecraft mob, and Minecraft is not Minecraft without it. So like, yes, it is annoying, but it's just something that we all accept as players because it is Minecraft's mob, you know? Distant Loner says, hardcore Minecraft isn't interesting. It's just a waste of time. I want to click off a video whenever I realize it's hardcore Minecraft. It's also kind of cringe to think you're superior to others and a pro gamer just because you're wasting hours of your life on building things you'll lose the moment you encounter a baby zombie. Yeah, even as someone who doesn't ever play or watch hardcore Minecraft, I will have to disagree with this. Hardcore Minecraft offers a very unique challenge to the game, and it's more about the mindset of the experience you will be having while you are in this world, knowing that it will not last forever. And some people just simply don't enjoy that experience, and that's okay. But nothing in life is forever. Even our Minecraft worlds that are not in hardcore can be lost very easily. I made a whole video about this actually, if you want to go check it out. You're not wasting hours of your life building things just because you know that one day you may lose it. That means that everything we do in our life is meaningless because at one point we're going to die. Do you see how that doesn't really make any sense? Things are not meaningless and a waste of time just because one day they will not exist anymore. You have fun with the finite time you have in this world, for example, in this Minecraft world, or even in real life. You make the best out of it, you enjoy the challenge, you enjoy the philosophy of nothing being permanent and what you can do with the time you have in this world. And that is meaningful in and of itself. So I completely disagree with this on like, on a very basic level. I feel like you're not really understanding the point of hardcore. Just because it's not something you would personally enjoy doesn't mean it's a waste of time or cringe. And I doubt that most people who are playing in hardcore think they're a pro gamer and like better than others. I don't think many people have some sort of superiority complex when it comes to playing hardcore. I think most people play hardcore because they enjoy the challenge. Simple as that. Shiny Jade says, I think the new spawn egg textures are really ugly. I much prefer the older ones. Yes, they're more uniform, but that's part of why I like them. The new ones are much too busy, and the colors and textures are so reflective of the new art style Minecraft has that I dislike. They're too smooth and pastel. The old ones are more contrasty and simple and fit the old game art style, which I prefer. Okay, I kind of agree with this because I do also prefer the old style of Minecraft, like the old, textures and everything like that. But I do acknowledge that a lot of the reason they've changed a lot of these textures in such drastic ways is because of accessibility reasons, which is ultimately a pretty good reason to do these sort of changes. So I'm not going to shit on the spawn eggs because god damn it, they are so confusing without the new textures. Like you just can't tell them apart at all. So I do like the new ones because they're much easier to read. But I would agree that some of them are a little too smooth, and like, Minecraft new textures just have this like airbrush problem. They just all look so airbrushed. I don't enjoy it at all. So stylistically, I kind of agree with this, but from a general accessibility perspective, I think the new spawn eggs are definitely much better. Wallaby says, I don't like that name tags and saddles can now be crafted. The excitement of finding a chest in a mineshaft or dungeon is now mostly gone for me. If Mojang wanted to increase their availability, they could simply increase the number found in chests and lower villager prices for them, or make them available at a lower trading tier. Leather workers are more useless than ever now. See, I think the problem with saddles and name tags being only found through loot or like villager trading is that they're very inaccessible early game unless you get super lucky, and saddles are pretty important, especially if you want to get a horse when you're early into the game. Not being able to ride on a horse just because you haven't found a dungeon with a saddle in it yet is kind of a shitty feeling. And I think with name tags, I feel like name tags should be extremely accessible, because name tags are very just like a quality of life thing. Just so you can remember and name your, like, just so you can remember the names of your pets and have them all, you know, tagged and organized. Like, it's just such a useful thing to have a name on your pet. Even like most mods that add pets to the game will give you just the option of naming them through the mod itself. Like Mo Creatures, for example, the second you tame a mob, you get the name pop up, you can name it, you can rename it easily. You don't need to craft a new saddle, or sorry, you don't need to craft a new name tag for it. So like I just feel like it's such a core aspect to having pets that it shouldn't be so difficult to find them, you know? So name tags should be very common. I don't agree that they should be found through RNG. They should be craftable. The crafting recipe should be easy. So I don't agree with that. With saddles, it's a little bit more like, yeah, not as necessary, but like, if you do want a horse or something and you just can't ride it because you don't have a saddle, it's just such a frustrating thing, I think. So I honestly think it was a good change, but I kind of do see the point that now like dungeons and you know, mineshaft chests are a little bit underwhelming, obviously, but I don't know. I feel like they should have more. They should have better loot than just name tags and saddles. Like, they should offer something more interesting than that, because name tags and saddles shouldn't be locked behind like treasure chests, basically, you know? Crawling Mantis says, I think it's better to play the game on as low render distance as possible. It makes the world feel bigger and forces you to explore carefully on foot since you can't see what's ahead of you. The only problem is landmark towers are made useless, but I like being forced to make physical paths and put signs everywhere so I know where I'm going. It makes every corner you turn a fun surprise. This is a very interesting take. I feel like this is definitely, most people are not going to agree with this. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it could be a very fun challenge. I guess kind of like playing Silent Hill. So it could be fun, especially if you enjoy more of like the horror Minecraft experience or something like that. I honestly would try it. I would try it out myself, but it should definitely not be the norm. I feel like that would be kind of insane, honestly. Not Coda says, okay, I actually have so many controversial opinions. I don't want more structures to be added because I feel like having a more empty world encourages me to be more creative and play Minecraft like an actual sandbox rather than an RPG where I'm looting everything. I like my world feeling somewhat more empty and linear, like I'm the sole builder and I'm restoring life to it. I kind of understand this totally. Like, it's a very different perspective, but I like it. I do enjoy the feeling of Minecraft being a more empty sandbox, which is why I really enjoy kind of like playing on alpha and beta at times. But yeah, like, I kind of see where you're going with this. I don't think it's very popular. I feel like most players do enjoy having more structures, but I don't know. I think having structures is really fun because I like exploring in Minecraft. But yeah, I wouldn't mind the opposite either, to be fair. Wind in the Leaf says, I think Mojang shouldn't allow mob farms. It's bad for game progression and clearly makes the game boring. I think while sulfur is coming to the game, they should make gunpowder craftable and patch the creeper farm. Spider, enderman, and iron farms definitely need to be patched. Normal mob farm is a gray area for me since it's really important for skyblock, and farms made from spawners are okay because it has limited speed and only one mob type spawns, but other farms must go. I think they already did something to make iron farms less efficient, but I'm not sure. I have no idea. I never make automatic farms, so this is not really something for me to say. But at the same time, I feel like this is a very, very improper perspective because you're basically saying you're not allowed to do this thing, which is very anti-Minecraft, I feel like. Mojang shouldn't allow mob farms? I think they should allow players to play the game however the hell they want. I feel like Mojang encourages people to utilize the mechanics they add to the game in new ways, mob farms included. You don't have to use mob farms. I never use mob farms or any sort of automated farm except for like a very handful of things. So if you don't like using them and you think it's bad for your game's progression, then don't use them, but don't disallow them for other players. That just doesn't make any sense to me. Stayberry says, my most unpopular opinion is that I think keep inventory is not the solution people think it is, and I do think it should disable achievements. I also agree that it is annoying to lose all your stuff permanently in lava or something, but to have no punishment for death makes survival mode kinda irrelevant in the same way access to commands or creative mode does. I personally think a gravestone system where you have to get to your death point to retrieve it, but you have no risk of actually losing anything is a perfect middle ground. Either way, I mean play however you want, I don't care, but if you would classify giving yourself infinite health as a cheat, then so is keep inventory. I honestly kind of agree with this, with the caveat being play however you want. If you like keep inventory, use it. But I do agree that it does take away from the survival aspect for some people, not for everyone, but like for some people and me included. I do actually prefer playing without keep inventory. And when I read this comment a few days ago, it inspired me to actually install the gravestone mod into my forever world. And I've been playing with it and I've actually really enjoyed it. It is a great middle ground because it's not fun to lose all your stuff and then have to, like, you know, have that internal 5-minute timer in your head and you're like, quick, run, we only have 5 minutes, let's go before it despawns. That sucks. It's so stressful. It's so bad. But a gravestone is a really great middle ground, so I fully agree with this. About the disabling achievements thing though, I don't know, I heard someone say that it should be like, you should still have the achievements, but have it be like with a disclaimer that you played with keep inventory on all of them when you complete them. Could be a great solution for that because, I don't know, I feel like disabling the achievements is a little bit harsh because like, just let people do their achievements. It's a fun thing. And then like, you know, if they want to use keep inventory or whatever, then just make it a little disclaimer. Like, it's not a big deal. The Lemming27 says, the happy gas was Minecraft's jump the shark moment. It's the point where the franchise has run out of ideas and, in a desperate attempt to stay relevant, does something so ridiculous that it becomes a parody of itself and starts in a reversible decline. This is a reference to the 1970s show Happy Days. Boomer reference, I know, where they literally had a character jump over a shark on water skis. For context, I started playing in late 2010 when they first added gas. They were these terrifying nightmare beasts, perfectly suited to the hell dimension. Now they get retconned to be this cute misunderstood baby wearing an aviator costume. Why? I hate it so much. I like modern Minecraft, but I hate the content drops. And when I saw the happy gas, I couldn't take these updates seriously anymore. I love the happy gas. I fully disagree with this. I don't get it. I'm not even going to try to be like, well, I mean, if you think about... No. I'm sorry. I love the happy gas. I love them. They are one of my favorite new features in Minecraft in so many ways, for so many reasons. I fully disagree with you. I'm sorry. Alia Moobloom says, 2 very controversial hot takes here. Number 1, Bedrock should be the main version of the game. Obviously that's mainly because of crossplay, but it's also because I'm personally a controller person when it comes to Minecraft, and as far as I know, Java doesn't support controllers, which I do agree should be fixed. I also think this is because when Bedrock has something cool, it gets removed to be more in line with Java, instead of adding it to Java. The maps thing pissed me off so bad. It seems like they have the concept of parody very, very backwards, so yeah. Aside from it being buggy sometimes, which I very rarely experience personally as a PC Bedrock player, the game is good and it has the clear upside of not needing external stuff to run, and in my opinion, a way more simple modding system. I kind of see where you're going with this, but I will always just be, unfortunately, forever biased for Java because it was the first version of Minecraft and it's the one that I play. So I am not going to make an argument here because I do see your points, but I still am going to disagree because I'm a biased human being. But fair points at that. Number 2, the marketplace is not that bad. You may argue the microtransactions are bad, and that's fair considering the fact that there's no confirmed purchase thing when you press the purchase button, but I think everyone needs reminding that Minecraft is a one-time purchase game. The marketplace also has the big upside of being very creator-led and easy to use. For example, Hermitcraft puts world downloads on the marketplace for Bedrock players, making it way easier for fans on Bedrock to have access to the worlds. Console players also benefit heavily from this because if the marketplace didn't exist, most console players would be completely locked to vanilla Minecraft. A personal bias for me though, I'd rather pay for a product than risk downloading something online that I can't verify will be safe because I'm tech illiterate. The marketplace def has some problems, but it's not as awful as people say it is. Asphalt says, my controversial opinion is that I think Mojang is doing an alright job with Minecraft. I believe they have a very difficult task with trying to keep Minecraft fresh by adding new content, whilst keeping Minecraft a foundation for players to do with Minecraft whatever they want to do with Minecraft. A significant percentage of players will always be upset no matter what an update would look like. Yeah. They'll say it's either straying away too much from Minecraft's original atmosphere if there's too much new stuff, or they'll compare it to mods and say the update should have more content. That's a fair point, I'm not gonna lie. I think a lot of Mojang's additions, like the increased world height and block ambience, greatly enhance Minecraft's sandbox feeling without changing Minecraft too much. I certainly don't agree with all the decisions Mojang has made, but I believe they're doing an alright job with all things considered. Fully agree. Fully agree. This is such a balanced take and very refreshing to see because everyone, I feel like, is so black and white when it comes to Minecraft. Not everyone, of course, but a lot of people, they're very much like Minecraft good, Minecraft bad. You know, it's like there's really no middle ground, and this is such a balanced opinion, and I fully agree with it. Like, yes, things could always be better. There will always be something to complain about. But no matter what they do, people will find a flaw in it. People will find something that it's missing or not doing good enough, or that it's too much or too little. There is no satisfying everyone. You just can't. It's impossible. At this point, it's so impossible for a game this big. So I feel like with all things considered, they are doing a pretty decent job at it. It's not a perfect job, but it's good enough. With that being said, there's always room for critique and for feedback and healthy, balanced and respectful criticism, which is, you know, something that I did a little bit recently where I was kind of giving all of my grievances with the game. I do agree that, you know, all things considered, Minecraft is doing just fine. Well, with all that being said, that is all the opinions I have for today. I hope those were very interesting because they were very interesting for me to read through. It was quite fun. I felt like I had a really good mix of very insane takes that I disagree with, takes that I agree with. So it was a great balance. Thank you to everyone who submitted their opinions. I really enjoyed reading through all of them, and I actually did read all of the ones that I got, but I wasn't able to pick out all of them for this video, obviously. So thank you to everyone. They were very interesting. I hope you guys enjoyed them. Let me know what you think of each of these. Which one is the one you absolutely disagree with the most? And which one is the one you actually do agree with? Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to see more, of course, be sure to leave a like. If you want to check out more Minecraft videos, I have a wide variety over on my channel that you can check out. Also, be sure to check out my Patreon if you want even more Minecraft content. I have an exclusive old school Let's Play on there, bonus content that you would really, really enjoy. So go check out my Patreon at patreon.com/lovestar. I'd really, really appreciate the support. Thank you so much, and I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Take care. Bye!